Hello and welcome to this Your PMO video on planning and resourcing. So in this session we're going to have a look at how you can have your plan or plans on your project and have that data loaded into the database centrally for you so it can produce resource charts and drive analysis of task information across one or more projects. So we're going to have a look at this project here, my service project. It's a brand new templated project. It's using a three-step method. And if I come in and, well, in fact, we just go and see what's in the database. So when we first created the project, it went and produced for us automatically a plan that was loaded into the blank project and its data loaded to the database. And we can see that here. So here's my blank project plan with the summary groups and milestones, etc., and just a sort of demonstration of what a plan might look like. That happens automatically for every project. The template plan is loaded into the database. Every time you change the plan, its updates will be loaded into the database as well. You can add extra plans to that managed list if you want to, and the data from those will then be loaded into the database as well. So it just looks at particular files and you can change which files those happen to be. To make changes to that data, you change it from the source plan itself. So let's go and find our plan. It's always in daily log and project controls, and here we are, project schedule, risks and issues, and the preview shows me that same thing. This is actually a planner file which supports plans, risks and issues, which we tend to do on a number of our methods, so you can update all at the same time if you want to. And as it's a project in a box file type, you'll see it says edit in planner here. I don't have to bring it down to my local desktop and use an application. Actually I can, and there is a standalone planner application which, following the normal sort of thing, browser is simple quick things, application or an app for the more complex things. So you can bring it down and do much more sophisticated things in planner itself with it, and we might have a look at that towards the end. But here I'm just going to edit it in the browser. So I've opened that up, and this is offering me tasks, risks and issues, all of these in this file, and some options about resources and other such things. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is come to manage resources, and I'm going to add myself as a new resource to the resource list. We've got project manager, business analyst and new, so I'm just going to change that to be Malk, like that. And then I'm going to come back to the task list. This is the task list, and I can show it as a Gantt chart as well if I want. Depends on the space I've got in my screen. The Gantt chart can take up a lot of space up at the top of the list. So I'm going to move the baseline start date to start today. That's the first thing. So I find baseline start here and edit that task. And I'm going to come to its date here and move that forwards to today. There we are. Like that. So it's now shifted all of those tasks further on. I'm going to come to a task below, and I'm going to edit that. I'm going to change its duration to perhaps be 100 days, like that. And I'm going to add some resources to it. So I'm going to add myself to that, and I'm going to say I'm going to actually be working on this for 50% of the time over the next 100 days. It works out how many hours that are. If I had to put in a cost rate for myself, it would include me in the cost calculations, etc. for this project. So that's done there. And in fact, I might also just include some percentage complete on that as well, so we can see that when we come and load it back in. So let's just make that 20% complete. Okay, so we've made some changes to the plan. We could, of course, here add new tasks if we wanted to. So I can come here and insert a task, and I could create summary groups and milestones and all those sorts of things. If we're going to do all those sorts of things, and lots of them, it's worth bringing the plan down locally and running in Planner itself. Much more sophisticated tool. But for just minor things, updating existing tasks or adding a few new ones, then you can do that perfectly well in the browser here. And of course, therefore, on any device that's got internet access and a browser. While we're here, we could also work on our risks and issues. So here's my risk list. I'm going to add a new risk to this project as well. And so I've added a new risk, and I can edit that and say the risk is going to be lack of resource, and it's going to be owned by me, and we're going to say if it happens it's going to be quite a significant one, like that. Okay, so added my risk. I might come back and add responses and management to it later, but for the moment I've just included it. So some simple things to do with Planner in the browser. If I want to save those changes, I can just press save here. I can give it a description for the audit trail, so I could do first draft like that and save, and that's now updated into the system. If I come back and see the file itself, see my preview show me those changes that we've added, and then the audit trail of that is showing me the multi-versions with my comment. Like I say, if I wanted to work on the file locally in Planner, I can do that two ways. I can either check the file out rather than edit live in the browser, and that will give me the file down to the desktop, which I then open with Planner. Or I can use the Windows application, which will automatically open it in the Planner application. So those changes are made, and that will now be reflecting in my analysis. When I come over here, I see my analysis is showing me all that information that we've included. Now the change dates and durations and resourcing information against that. And in fact, I can therefore come now and see the resource chart as well. We don't want the portfolio one, we'll go for the project one instead. And here's my project resource chart. I can see who's working on which of the tasks for how long. This is months. I could drop that to days if I wanted to see more detail. And so, you know, it's just producing that straight away for you from whatever data is being fed in. Like I say, the Planner files are our default templates, but you can add Microsoft Project files too if you want to. To do that, you simply add the Microsoft Project file to your project. So let's go and do that. I've got, I'm in this document here, so I'm going to do add drag and drop. I'm going to get myself a Microsoft Project file, and here it is here. Just drag that onto there. That file's now been included in the system, and I now need to just tell the database that I want it to read that data in. So I come to menu. This isn't the sort of thing we do very often, so behind the scenes a little bit. We've got project reporting info, and these are my sources of data. So I'm going to find a new one, which is going to be that Microsoft Project file. We're reading in as a task type data field, so we add that to there, and now I'm just going to read that into the database. Okay, so that data is there. Now I won't have to do this every time. Now that's on that list. Every time we update that Microsoft Project file, its data will also be fed into our analysis. So when we come back and look at this, now we see we've got a much more substantial set of activities. We've got the Microsoft Project data and the data we had from Planner, both in the same interface. That will now be feeding obviously through to the resourcing as well. So we come through here, and again we see we've got quite a lot of that, and in fact, because there's such a long span, there isn't enough detailed space to put in the data, so we'd want to narrow that down a little bit to go away and look at it. But it's all there, and it happens straight away for you, so it's pretty straightforward to do. And in fact, you know, it's like falling off a log with a default project because it's got all the things there for you, but you can add your own things as well, as you've seen here. Okay, I hope you found that helpful, and if you've got any further questions, just let us know. Thank you very much.